What up, guys? Another Adonis review, and today I'm going to do Borderlands 2 in VR. I don't know how I forgot about this one, but a fantastic game that is probably one of the highlighted games that was a fantastic addition to VR that I don't think gets talked about or mentioned enough. It currently does not have a PSVR 2 update as of now, which is a shame. I really hope that it gains traction and does get one, along with, maybe getting Borderlands 3 in VR and Tiny Tina's Wonderland in VR would be fantastic. I really hope that they end up pushing that as time goes on, just like they had this one, and we should promote it and get it there. But I thought we would discuss it, what you get if you're a fan of Borderlands, what you'll get for having this, maybe remind some people that it exists and that you can play Borderlands 2 in VR because it's a great game. So first, if you've never heard of Borderlands, I don't really know how to explain it from the beginning, but essentially it's a RPG stylish type first-person shooter where you choose between one of 6 characters with the DLC, which typically if you get this game now, especially the VR version, you're going to get all characters to choose from. And you pick your character and you do wacky, silly missions with, basically the Borderlands most well-known property is the fact that there's millions of guns, just different guns and different variations that do crazy things. I mean, Borderlands 3 is well known for having guns that run around and shoot things, and in Borderlands 2 you get guns that when you reload it, you throw them and they're bombs or they're missiles, and they just have a lot of guns, which is what they're most well known for. But anyways, you go basically around planet to planet doing different things, and killing things essentially first person with all your thousands of guns. And you do have to upgrade eventually. You get better shields and weapons and mods and stuff, become stronger throughout the game with higher level weapons until you're like a powerhouse. And this is, in my mind, kind of like the first Destiny of sorts, where it really gave you, really made it fun to loot and raid and try to get better weapons and higher level loot and stuff. And beat raid bosses and all that shit. Because their original game came out in 2012, but I believe this VR port came out around 2018, maybe 2019, which is, and it's still really good and it's great to use. So let's go over the review, the positives and negatives. It's more so positive than negative of what you kind of will get, because I personally think this is a great game. I think anyone should get it. What you do get for buying this is you will get the full game, as well as all the DLC that comes with it, which they have 4 main DLCs. They have Dragon Keep, which is the main inspiration for Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which is an amazing DLC, probably one of the best DLCs I've played beyond The Witcher, Honey and Wine, or Blood and Wine, or whatever, where essentially it's like a full kind of Dungeons and Dragons style RPG where you get magic and fucking special type of weapons based off medieval times. And then they have 3 other ones. The cool thing about Borderlands, though, is that this is an all-encompassed fucking game. It also gives you these tiny, I don't even know what they are because I just saw them after the fact, but they're kind of like extra side DLC that are much shorter than a full DLC pack, but they still provide kind of a mini story. There's one that has to do with kind of like a Halloween Town area that has its own special Halloween boss. There's also a Christmas one, same thing, with its own special Christmas type boss. There's a Thanksgiving version of it, which is way shorter, but again, it's just nice that you have all these extra things and they all come included with this. So it really is a great value for what you get. It's everything you get in the fucking normal Borderlands game, and in the super edition version of it. It's everything converted into VR, which is awesome to see these maps that you might have, seen and loved in the past and see them reconverted into VR. But with this being VR, the ultimate negative about buying this version is that this game is truly a multiplayer game. That is the biggest benefit of it, and that is not possible. Not only is it not possible with obviously playing, maybe cross-played with normal Borderlands, which, you know, would seem understandable. But it's also not crossplay if someone else has VR and fucking Borderlands and they want to play with you, which I don't. I mean, I guess maybe it's just too tough to do. Whatever, I guess so. Makes sense. Maybe it's too much, like, too much power, and it would fuck it up. I mean, I think it's kind of tough to play this game already on, like, the PlayStation 4. Just kind of, I don't know, scratchy, you know, just in general, like the camera's tough to use sometimes on a normal PlayStation 4, so maybe it's just too much, you know, make it too glitchy and shit if you play with someone else. So that's the main benefit, that, you know, this game is known for that, and you can't do it, you know, with the VR, which is a bummer. So if you want to buy this to do that, you know, because you happen to know someone has a VR and wanted to get a multiplayer game in VR beyond Pavlov or something, you can't do it, which is a bummer. But this game is still so great. It is great to play it regardless and go through all this stuff if you have played it in the past in VR, nonetheless. They also allow all controller types to be used in this, so you can use the, you know, normal controller, which is fine. You can use the move controllers, which is cool, especially if, like, if a Berserker, you can double fist it. Or you can use the gun move controller, whatever that's called, where, you know, you have, like, a gun in the shape of a controller, and, you know, you buy it separately for $100. You can even use that, which is cool to use. So it does allow and have a lot of type of controller types, you know, it uses it pretty well. So with that being said, like I said, the only negative really behind that is probably graphically. Luckily for us, Borderlands has always kind of put itself in a cartoonish style, comic book style graphic variety, which means that even so, especially in VR, when most games don't have the highest version of graphical capabilities, luckily now with the VR2, they are pushing more games to have better quality, but for the initial VR, it is something that this would be considered great, you know, good quality, especially for VR, especially with how much content you get for it. So it works out pretty well. So definitely worth getting, especially with all the hours of content you get as well. It just really is a massive game. I would say the biggest negative is, you know, getting to an area where you can handle playing VR long enough where you don't get a headache or motion sickness to complete the game, since it is a good amount of content. But with that being said, you know, it's a great game. It's fantastic to play this game again. I've bought Borderlands 2 multiple times. You know, from buying it on PS3 originally to fucking buying it again to get, you know, all the DLC, to buying the Handsome Jack collection to PS4, to getting, you know, this fucking on VR, because it's just such a great game. I would recommend everyone to try it out and play it, especially if you have a VR, to do it. Hopefully soon they do come out and make those adjustments to play this Borderlands on the PSVR 2 and upgrade everything else. That would be phenomenal. But if you do try it out and like it, let me know. Later, guys.